Hey guys, welcome to another review. I am Mr. P, and today we are doing something from the fabled FastTech Dugan. So what we're doing today is, let's just get the full name from the site because I'll say what it is. Hades style rebuildable dripping atomizer. Dum 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 dum. So what we're doing today is a Hades style rebuildable dripping atomizer made to sit on top of that beastie 26650 mod. Now what did I pay for this? FastTech charged me a grand total of £7.98p. You gotta love them, yeah. £7.98 from FastTech. So that's what I'm doing. I think what I'm going to do is straight into close up, then bring it back up to me and do all of that kind of on the other side of it. So yep, let's take it down to the table and we'll show you what it's about. Right guys, welcome to an up close of the Hades dripper from FastTech Dugan. I've got to state this is take number 2. I accidentally deleted take number 1 and this is about 3 weeks after the intro and the outro that you're watching in this video. So if I mention something in part 3 of this, which is the next page after the close-up, that I don't mention here, it's because this is a different close-up. But on the upside, you know, I've had more time with it now, so hopefully I'll cover a few bits that I didn't previously, not that you will know. Anyway, let's get into it. So Hades dripper from FastTech, CE markings and standard bits and bobs here. Magnetic little flap sticker we've all become familiar with at FastTech. On the back, Hades still there, Quasar, there you go, and Brass Monkey. Obviously that should have a tick in it, but it doesn't. And you know, you've got that on the front, little Hades on the front. We'll open it up, we'll have a little look. Now, again, forgive the fact that these aren't in a little bag, but you know they're not. The spares are in here. You've got an extra screw for your post, 1 out of 3, so you know you've only got 1 screw if you do lose 1 of the 3. A screwdriver there. There's an O-ring in there which is actually broken, as you can see. A bit of candle or nichrome wire. There was another additional O-ring, and I'd like to point out neither that one or the other one were broken at the time. It was 1 for the deck and 1 for the top cap. So there we go. Now into the dripper itself. Straight away you've got sort of your Hades logo just there. Airflow here and here. Dual core only on this one. Sort of 510 drip to adaptation, and you've got your 510 threaded connection down here with an adjustable contact, copper. In fact, it's screwed in as far as I can get it. So I don't know why you need it out any more than that, to be honest with you. But if you did need to, you've got the option. Let's start by taking this off. I'll get into taking it off in a second, but we'll go into this. Very still air-like in construction, with the exception this is a polished finish and not a brush. Also, this outer body is much thinner than the still air 28mm clone or 28.5mm clone. So top cap held in place by 1 single O-ring down in that sort of outer body. Like I say, along the top your 510 drip tip, everything I've tried in there fits, and then you've got an air path reducer in there. You know, they haven't drilled it out to the maximum bore. I think it's a shame they don't do that, I really do. Inside here, air paths, 1 there and 1 there. Now I've read somewhere that that's an equivalent to a 5mm draw. One of these, I'd have to disagree. I'd say more like a 2.5mm draw. When combined, it still doesn't make a 5mm draw, but that's how it is. My finger is actually here. Between there and there is a solid lump of stainless steel. It's got a reducer in there. Hopefully you can make that out. You know, that's a lot narrower than that depth there would lead you to believe. Other than that, we're pretty much covered. You know, not particularly extensive. Like I say, on the outer body, you have got your Hades little sort of symbol there. I mean, I don't know whether to call this a clone, because it doesn't exist, the Hades dripper. I mean, the Cerberus does, but who knows. Anyway, it's basically a still air kind of thing, which is named after a mod. So, you know, but into the outer body, like I say, polished finish, bit of logo in there, air paths there and there, obviously to match the ones that are in your top cap. You have got a recess all the way down there and all the way down there, just leaving that little lip around there. Obviously that's to sit on top of your deck, so you can only put it one way. Now those of you with your head screwed on usually would only put this one way anyway, because the logo isn't reversible. You know, it doesn't work upside down, so you know, only on one way. Into the deck, like I say, I covered the 510. Okay, single O-ring here. Now you'll see in the box that O-ring, the bigger one of the two, was broken. That's because I'd replaced the one that was on here standard with the one from the box that then broke as well. Now it doesn't feel very resistant when you put it on. In fact, it went on lovely, but for some reason they broke. So this is actually a replacement O-ring that's meant to be up here, as it's the only one I had to hand. I've put it on. It does hold. It's a lot looser. But it does hold, and that's all I needed to do for the purposes of this review. Inside, there's not a bad well, actually. It's got a decent little well in there, so you'll be able to hold a fair bit of juice. A 3-post system, sort of through the post and screw it down, no problem whatsoever. You'll see from this one here, the positive post, you know, has moved slightly, but that's okay, it's not a big deal. What is a big deal though, I don't know if you can make that properly on camera, but you might be able to see some discoloration and a bit of rust even on them screws, on them screw heads. Now that wasn't there a few weeks ago when I first filmed this, so goes to show a bit of time can reveal these things. They're obviously not stainless steel screws, are they? Now they're not going to be particularly hard to replace. In fact, if you've got like a W, I'm pretty sure they'll slot straight in, but you know, FastTech should have learnt this by now. For the sake of an extra 20p, we'll pay it. Give us proper bloody screws. I'd like to have seen, to be honest with you, what I'd like to have seen, get around there, I'd like to have seen bigger holes in them posts, and I'd like to have seen bigger posts in general. You've got the room, utilise it. But that is what it is. Other than that, you know, your centre post is positive, insulated down the deck, two out exteriors are negative, and you chuck a couple of coils in it. Like I say, it does have to be 2 unless you want to block off one in the air pass, because it's only a dual coil option. So what I'm going to do now, very quickly, is chuck a couple of coils in her. A couple of wicks, because these coils are actually only done in my last close up. I just don't fancy recoil or re-wicking it again. So here we go, 1, and then from this side, always leaving my towel on the opposite, 2. Just give that a little tug through. That's a bit too tight there, about there. Now I've got a little set of snips somewhere over here. There they are. These are tiny ones. That same other one's got ruined by 0.8 candle. Now I tend to just take off that there. Be generous with leaving it at the front. This isn't 22mm, guys. You can afford to lose it, if I'm honest with you. Then take it off at the back, there, like so, and there, like so. Just give it a little pull. Now what I will do is grab my screwdriver. I think actually first what I'll do is add a bit of e-liquid to these wicks. What we've got today, some Dunsford e-liquid Silverback from Dunsford, VG heavy, so it should be good for clouds. Unfortunately not that you'll see it in this review, because the juice I was using last time was different, and I don't fancy filming the whole thing again. But that is what it is, guys, and sometimes in the world of e-cig reviews this stuff happens. So I'm going to have to give that a second to set in, because it is a thick VG juice. Now when it comes to, you know, your wicks and your cotton in these dual coil setups, what I tend to do is sort of tuck that in here, like so. Okay, same on this side. It doesn't really matter, you've got so much room that it's not a problem. But with this one, what I tend to do, because I've left a considerable amount of room between the coil and the post, and I'll go into that, I tend to tuck over. But even if I wasn't, I still tuck over, because joining these sort of 2 bits of wick here means that even if you was to knock it or something like that, and one of your coils was to be heating slightly quicker than the other one, it's not going to be catastrophic in terms of, you know, that horrible dry hit that you get when it's only one of them, you know, so it feels alright, and then you take down, it's like someone's sort of ruined your build. The reason I've took these so far away from the posts is because the air holes are here. We're used to building here, okay, on 22mm, so it comes in past the coil up. In here, because you've got so much space here, if you build close, your air basically effectively is coming in and coming up like that, and effectively missing your coil that you may have here. So what I've found is extend them legs. Don't be afraid to extend the legs either. You don't get hot legs really, it's micro coils. So if you do, just bump up the cotton, not a problem, do that. There you go. But but extend those coils out, extend those legs, bring the coil right out as far as you dare, and get it close to the air holes. I found the flavours better, I found the vapours much better, and it's not as a wispy sort of horrible throat hitty vape. So what I'll do, just because I'm about to review this liquid, is fully prime this, and I'll stick it all back together. So just like so, just line up your air holes like so, which is a little bit off there, and then stick that back on there. Now if you chuck this on the intended device, which is what I'm doing just here now, give me just uno momento. Yeah, so here we go. Chuck her on the intended device, get them air holes lined up, get yourself a nice little drip to Dugan, pop her in there, there we go, and you know, I think that is pretty sweet. Let's have a little vape. It's definitely doing the job. Anyway, right guys, back up to moi to finish talking about this. Right guys, welcome back up to me. There you go. So 26650 style Hades style dripper. Now obviously this dripper is kind of like a clone of 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 a clone. The design is basically the Stellaire, isn't it? Let's be honest with you. But it's a polished finish. The top cap's different. It's not as heavy as the 26650 Stellaire, but other than that, it's about the same. Copper contact in the 510. I do like that. Adjustable as well, which is spot on. So I mean, that's definitely a positive thing. Just have a little vape. So I've got a 14mg blueberry in here, and it is kicking my arse. So yes, do like the adjustable 510. 3-post system, I like that. That's kind of what we come to expect. Sometimes it's best not to overcomplicate things, let's be honest. The post holes are more than sufficient. I've got dual 0.5 in here, no problem whatsoever, went straight in either way. Realistically, you don't need to run anything more than that in this dripper, and any other in fact. She's big, she does look nice on this. You know, it's kind of designed to go with this Hades, and I think it does a great job of it. I wish that the Hades didn't have that stupid fucking thing on top of it so it would sit flush, but that's a design for the mod. In fact, the design for the original mod, if you ask me, but whatever. Other than that, completely adjustable dual airflow system. There's only a dual coil option in this. You can't do your singles, and I don't understand why, because all they have to do, this slot here, just give me another one here. That's all I ask. I can do singles then. And I'll be a happy chappy. I know it's designed for cloud chasing and there's so much room in the deck. Why would you not use 2? Because I'd prefer to use 1, to be honest. I'd rather have 1 at 0.5 than 2 at 0.5. That's just my preference. And it seems silly not to include it, but it isn't there, so dual coil only. The airflow, massive airflow. You don't need any more than that realistically. You've got enough there to do ample clouds, no problem whatsoever. Let's have another. Lovely. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll go straight into the 5-6 point hit list for an 80, and then, you know, everything will be covered along the way. I just need to have a little drink before we start. Lovely. Right, so first on the hit list, I suppose, would be looks. Now, looks it's very simple. You know, it's a very inoffensive dripper. It's got the Hades logo on there, which is really a moot point. In fact, I guess this is an original. It's got the Hades on there, and I think that's well done. Laser engraved. The polish is fine. It does say on the site. Let's have a little look at the spec on the site. It does say full stainless steel, but non minor parts may be non-SS. I'm struggling to see what's non-SS on this, apart from the copper contact and obviously the insulators. But minor parts may not be stainless steel, so just bear that in mind. Might have some chrome-plated brass going on in there. We know how FastTech work. But looks, I think for sitting on what it's designed to sit on, it's 10. It's a spot on looking little atomizer. This. Well, it's not little, it's a big atomizer in fact, but it's spot on. I think it looks really cool with this drip tip that I got from me Aqua. Stuck that in there, and I think, you know, that to me is a lovely little setup. Looks, I'm giving a 10 to, no problem whatsoever. Usability, well, we've got a dual coil only, so they're always more of a pain than singles. I mean, I'm not saying they're difficult to do, but they're always more effort than just a single coil. So there is that to consider. Other than that, the body slops on just lovely. The top cap fits in just lovely. The airflow is very adjustable. You know, you can lock off half, 3/4, 90%, whatever percentage of that hole you wanted to knock off to give yourself that tighter draw if you wanted to for increased flavour. The only thing I would bear in mind is, because of the size of the dripper, bring them coils out. Okay, leave long legs. You know, usually we'd leave maybe 2 mil in between the coil and the posts. Try making that 6 or 7. Get them coils out towards the edge, because that really helps for flavour in this, and it really helps to reduce the throat hit. When I first built this, I pulled them coils in quite close. Bit of a user error, to be honest with you. Used to using your sort of your 22 mil drippers, and that's what you do in them. And it was a throat hit monster. It absolutely kicked me in the face. Bringing them coils out has really reduced that by quite a lot, and that for me is a good thing. So, pardon me. Other than that, usability, well, the pure size of the thing means it holds, I don't know how much e-liquid, a lot. It must hold over 1 mil easily over 1 mil. I mean, I was dripping this earlier on with primed wicks, and I was counting the drops, and I got to 60 drops on this before I stopped. It's a lot of e-liquid. Now, no drop is created equal, and that's not a true gauge of millilitres, but it gives you a fair idea of the amount of juice that this thing can hold. 10. The usability is going to be a 10 for a dual coil dripper, 3-post system. It's the same as any other. The only difference between this and a 22 mil dripper is, like I say, them legs. Other than that, it's just as usable as any other dripper that I've ever used that's designed for dual coils. So yeah, 10. Maintenance on this bad boy, well, you know, give it a little clean. It's polished, so it will attract fingerprints. It's just how it is. But other than that, I mean, you just pull the parts and give them a clean. You're not losing anything, because purely how big the bloody thing is. If you're using microcoils, you know, you just pull the cotton out, stick new cotton in after dry burning. It's very usable. It is very usable, and I've been using it all day today and loving it. So I'm going to give maintenance a 10, because it's very little input. Seeing as you're increasing in size, you expect more problems to come up, especially in terms of usability and maintenance, and they don't seem to be. So 10. Flavour and vapour of this, well, vapour's a 10, isn't it? Let's be fair. Sorry guys, I'm very warm today. Yeah, vapour is a 10. Now that's going to depend on juice, going to depend on build, going to depend on battery, going to depend on airflow, but they're wide open. That's how I run these atomizers. The juice in there is a high PG juice. That's a 70% PG juice, and it's clouding the room up no problem whatsoever. The build in there is 0.4 ohms. It's a bit of a lot on the lower side, but to me, this kind of atomizer wants a little bit on the lower side, to be honest. The flavour's a 10. That juice in there is tasting as good as it did in a Zenith with a single coil and a fully open air hole. So the flavour for me is a 10 on that one. Vapour, obviously, as I said, it already is a 10. It's ridiculous to be anything other than a 10. Build quality and price. Let's do build quality first. Every drip tip I've tried to put in here fits. The top cap rubber O-ring isn't wearing. The bottom O-rings aren't wearing. The posts haven't been a problem, really. You've got more than enough room for your 0.5 in there. You've got an adjustable copper contact. I did read the reviews on FastTech that said, some said that their copper pin was fucked basically when they got it. I can't say that's what I had on mine, and I do believe they're getting a replacement. So it's, you know, all's fair in love and war in it. But build quality is getting a 10. I mean, I've got to be perfectly honest with you, this is better built than the 28.5mm still air that I've reviewed. So you can't really argue with that. Price. It cost me, let me just confirm exactly how much it was again. £7.98p. I can't even go to a fish and chip shop and get dinner for that now. £7.98p is a joke. The battery inside it cost me more than that. In fact, that drip tip cost me like £4. So with the spares and a box and delivered for £8, the price is obscene. I'm stealing this from FastTech. That's what it feels like. So yeah, the price is quite clearly a 10. When you figure how little price that is compared to the build quality you're getting a bargain, a big time bargain. Most things from FastTech are a bargain if they work. This works. And yeah, for £8 you're stealing it. You really are. Get one if you've got a Hades and you want to sort of bring it back out of the cupboard, for sure. Overall, now my overall mark on this is definitely a 10. Alright, it clouds, it holds loads of juice, it's easy to build with the exception of bringing them cores out a bit. It's cheap, it's built well. I think the finish looks really cool. Sitting on top of the Hades, which is where it's made to sit, it looks fucking awesome. I actually bought this on a whim because I thought I'd get it and I'd fill that ring full of holes and build a specific cloud chasing atomizer for my 26650 mod that I had indoors, with the sole intention of mutilating it to produce as big a cloud as possible. Having had and used this, I'm not doing that to it. I like it too much to do that to it. I've got other atties that I can destroy for the cloud chasing purposes. This for me is where it belongs. On top of that, I think it performs fantastically well, and I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. If you've got a Hades clone or legitimate, whatever, chances are if you've got legitimate you won't buy one, but if you did want to, you won't be sorry. I think it's a spectacular buy, I really do, and I think anyone who's looking at getting one, or if you're watching this review because you're thinking about buying a big atty, this is a very, very nice place to be for £8 especially. Other than that, guys, you want to check out FastTech. If you don't know who they are, the link will be down here for them, and prepare to spend a lot of money and time trolling the site. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. P. I shall see you soon.